Who among us has not, at some dark hour, wondered about hell? Is it a chasm beneath our feet, waiting to swallow the wicked whole, or a silent dread that gnaws at us from the inside out? Hell is empty. The devils are here. This chilling phrase is more than just an ancient warning. It is a mirror, a reflection of human brutality echoing across time. In the face of unspeakable crimes, in the aftermath of unresolved injustices, humanity grows restless. We yearn for some final reckoning, a realm where every crime is measured and every cruelty answered with the coin of suffering. The core question haunts us. Does hell exist as an afterlife punishment, or is it born from the tormented recesses of our own collective psyche? Our journey begins here, at the hazy border of reality and belief, where ancient myths, sacred teachings, and the rigor of modern science all wrestle to define what and where hell truly is. To begin unraveling this enigma, we travel to the East. In Buddhism, hell is neither eternal nor vindictive, but deeply intertwined with karma, the universal law of cause and effect. Its linguistic roots stretch back centuries. Naraka, in Sanskrit, or Niraya, in Pali, means without joy, a direct reference to realms of absolute despair. Early Buddhist texts, like the Pali Canon and the Anguttara Nikaya, describe hell as a domain set aside for the consequences of one's unwholesome actions. Here, hell is less a cosmic prison and more a landscape shaped by the weight of your deeds. Central to Buddhist teaching is the figure of King Yama, the celestial judge who awaits each soul. Far from being just a tormentor, King Yama first asks 3 questions. Did you not see the signs of life, of death, of sickness? Did you pass by these reminders of impermanence and continue senselessly in wrongdoing? Failing to heed these signs, the soul experiences the ultimate lesson, not by decree, but by karmic necessity. Within Naraka, the 8 hot hells, known as Bada-Diyu, await those who fall short. In revival hell, bodies are endlessly mutilated and regenerated, ensuring that pain is both constant and futile. In black string hell, scorched cords slice flesh to bone. Crushing hell is where the condemned are pulverized by stones, only to be restored and broken again. Screaming hell, boiling oil hell, and others inflict their signature torments. At the deepest level lies Avicii, reserved for the gravest of sins. Parricide, the murder of saints, or the destruction of the Dharma itself. Yet, even among such horrors, Buddhist hells serve a redemptive purpose. They are not everlasting, but purgatorial. Here, suffering is a bitter medicine, designed to exhaust negative karma and allow, eventually, for rebirth. King Yama is sometimes depicted not merely as a judge, but as a bodhisattva, compassionately shepherding souls through their learning. Contrast this with Christianity's vision. Here, hell is not a lesson, but a final destination. The Christian scriptures contain more fierce warnings about hell than comforting promises of heaven. In this framework, hell is described as a very real place of divine judgment. Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. The Gospel of Matthew and Revelation leave little room for metaphor. The punishments are vividly physical, unquenchable fire, worms that never die, but also intensely spiritual. The truest agony is not the heat of flames or the sting of the worm, but utter, permanent separation from God. This is the ultimate exile, the soul cut off from every source of hope and joy. For early Christians, hell was known by several names. Gehenna was a real valley outside Jerusalem, notorious as a place of hideous child sacrifices, and later a perpetually burning dump, a fitting symbol for final ruin. Sheol and Hades describe the underworld in broader terms, sometimes as a shadowy waiting place, other times as a realm of active torment. In some later texts, Tartarus, borrowed from Greek myth, denoted the deepest pit reserved for the most rebellious. While a few theologians argue for symbolic interpretations or eventual reconciliation, orthodox doctrine remains resolute. As long as heaven endures, so will hell. Turning now to the ancient Mediterranean, we encounter new shadows in the Greek and Roman conceptions of the afterlife. Upon dying, a Greek soul is escorted by Hermes to the banks of the river Styx, where the ferryman Charon demands a coin for passage. On the farther shore, 3 judges, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus, await to assign souls their place. The best and bravest enjoy everlasting reward in the Elysian fields, a lush realm of tranquil delight. Most drift in the asphodel meadows, a bland eternity reflecting ordinary, unremarkable lives. But the worst descend to Tartarus, the deep pit of despair. Here dwells Sisyphus, condemned to push his boulder forever, and Tantalus, ever thirsty and starving within reach of what he can never grasp. Unlike the blazing torments of later faiths, the Greek underworld's punishments are deeply psychological. The suffering of Sisyphus is not simply the pain of exertion, but the breathless ache of endless, pointless effort. Tantalus's agony is not flame, but the crushing weight of hope continually dashed. Interestingly, Hades, the ruler of this realm, is not a figure of evil akin to Satan. Rather, he is the somber custodian of cosmic justice, ensuring that all receive their due, reward or retribution, without malice. As we leave the infernal landscapes behind, we find new perspectives flowering in the fields of philosophy and psychology. For many ancient Chinese thinkers, such as Zhang Taiyan, hell is not an external city of torment, but a region intricately constructed by one's own karma and moral failures. Dreams of being judged by great rulers or one's ancestors symbolize the mind grappling with conscience. In the modern age, psychologists see hell in the nightmares of trauma, the suffocating grip of guilt, and the inner exile produced by unresolved fear. Near-death experiences add another brushstroke. Reports of hellish NDEs rarely feature lakes of fire, but instead recount sensations of crushing isolation, suffocating darkness, and perpetual regret. It is the mind, many argue, that builds these hells, crafting tortures as unique as the wounds that formed them. For the existentialists, hell is not only internal, but also social. Jean-Paul Sartre's famous line, "Hell is other people," reminds us that alienation, spiritual, societal, and personal, can be more torturous than any imagined pit. Can science, with all its wonders and skepticism, bridge the gap between myth and reality? In the late 20th century, Soviet scientists drilled the Kola Super Deep borehole, a project aimed at plumbing the deepest mysteries of the Earth itself. As the drill ground downward, temperatures exceeded expectations, reaching 180 degrees Celsius at a mere 12.2 kilometers below the crust, hot enough to evoke images of a world on fire. Whispers arose. Workers claimed to have heard the screams of the damned reverberating from the well. Stories fueled more by folklore than by fact, later explained as the natural moans of shifting rock and seismic echoes. Other so-called gates to hell have been identified across the globe. The Darvaza gas crater in Turkmenistan, a massive pit ignited in 1971, still burns with otherworldly ferocity. In Ethiopia, the Erta Ale volcano has maintained a permanent lava lake for centuries, its blood-red glow visible for miles at night. Mount Osore, a volcanic valley in Japan, is thick with ghostly mists and sulfur, venerated as a passage to the next world. Despite these hellish landscapes, science has found no evidence of a literal realm of punishment lurking beneath the crust. Instead, it offers only the natural processes of decomposition and energy dispersal. The spirit, if it exists, does not escape scientific scrutiny in any observable way. Yet the myths endure, perhaps as a symbolic response to our terror of the unknown. Our exploration would not be complete without recognizing just how widespread the idea of hell is. Nearly every society on Earth has conjured up an underworld, its own theatre of posthumous justice and penalty. The Norse foretold of Helheim, a cold and dismal plain where the indifferent dead wander. The Egyptians spoke of Duat, a nightmarish labyrinth requiring the favour of gods and the weight of one's heart to pass through unscathed. The Mesopotamians shivered at the thought of Irkalla, a dust-choked wilderness below the earth. In Hindu belief, Naraka brands each soul with the precise suffering befitting its karma, yet always with the possibility of return. Despite their diversity, these underworlds share universal patterns. Gatekeepers like Cerberus, ferrymen such as Charon, and judges, be they Yama, Minos, or Osiris. They are portraits not only of imagined geography, but of universal anxieties, the terror of judgment, the yearning for justice, the dread of being forgotten. Myths often grant passage to mortals as well. Heroes like Orpheus, Aeneas, and Dante, who brave the darkness for love, redemption, or knowledge, and emerge forever changed. Finally, we must ask, is hell simply a tale to frighten children and keep adults in line, or does it serve a deeper social function? Across epochs, the threat of damnation has proven an effective incentive. Fear of hell spurs the formation of laws, enshrines religious codes, and shapes the very architecture of morality. It compels introspection, inspiring guilt, and sometimes repentance. In this way, hell operates both as a moral compass and as a tool of societal control. Yet even when interpreted as metaphor rather than fact, hell persists as an ultimate symbol for the desire for justice. Perhaps the truest hells are not found on any celestial map, but manifest every day, in the devastation of war, in the darkness of abuse, in the choking poverty and injustice that millions endure. These, too, are indictments of the human condition. If we fear hell so much, perhaps the real challenge is to root out its earthly counterparts, to ease suffering, to right wrongs, to build compassion. In the end, perhaps the question of hell's location is the wrong one. It is not a place waiting somewhere in the cosmos or below our feet. Rather, it is a mirror, reflecting back our guilt, our longing for vindication, our hopes for redemption. Whether hell exists as another world, an unseen dimension, or merely as a persistent wound in the mind and heart, its influence on human experience is profound and undeniable. In the grand design of every faith, hell serves its purpose, as a warning and as a trial, for punishment or purification. The deeper and more uncomfortable question remains: are we living in such a way that avoids creating hell, either within our own souls or in the world around us? For if the devils truly are here, perhaps the power to banish them lies not in myth or doctrine, but in our own hands, hearts, and choices. The journey through faith, fear, and the unknown continues, and so does the search for meaning in the shadowed places of existence.